Penguin. First episode released September 19th, 2024. Last episode released November 10th, 2024. Released on Max. Created by Lauren Lufranc. Starring Colin Farrell, Kristen Milioti, and Renzi Feliz. Rotten Tomatoes, 95%. IMDb, 8.8. Metacritic, 72. Welcome back to Real Reviews. Like always, I am your host, Lee. Today, we are talking about the Max original series, Penguin, a spin-off of the Batman. Since that movie was one of the better things to come out of DC recently, it is no surprise that this is also getting pretty positive reviews. But let's talk about it. So The Penguin is about the life and evolution of Oswald Cobb after the events of the Batman. This is Oswald almost at the bottom and trying to make his way higher up in the world of Gotham's organized crime. There are some very good parts of the story in this show. They expand his backstory, as well as expanding the crime syndicates across the whole of the city. The Falcones get the most development as they are the primary group other than Oswald himself. At the start of the story, they seem to be trying to explain or justify Oswald, but then they switch back to modern day, and it is very easy to remember that while he may be the main character, he isn't a good guy. At each turn, we get to see him being manipulative, intelligent, or downright ruthless. The real highlight characters in the show aside from Oz are Victor and Sophia. I wasn't really familiar with either Renzi Feliz or Kristen Milioti from any other projects, so I didn't really know what to expect from either of them, but they really blew it out of the water. Sophia was one of the most well-written characters I have seen in a while, and she gets a deep and dark lore that informs so many pivotal things about her. I would say that even Clancy Brown was great, but I feel like he is always great at everything he does. Theo Rossi, who plays Dr. Julian Rush, is one I don't know how to feel about, because technically there isn't really anything bad about him, but he felt so similar to his role as Shades in Luke Cage that I had a hard time getting past it. Another thing that I was a huge fan of is the sets and effects. Everything looks so well done. A lot of the scenes happen indoors, which helps because you can simply just make a set or choose a building, and you don't have to worry about much past that. Any of them that were built sets are also great because I couldn't really tell if they weren't real. There are a few times when the ridiculousness of the scene makes you aware of it being fiction, but that is mainly because something dumb like stacked cars in the middle of the street are just there. The props were also awesome. Nothing truly glaring with the exception of when Sophia is smoking. The cigarettes don't glow or create smoke, but that is probably because Kristen Milioti likely doesn't smoke. The cars all looked good. The mushrooms looked vaguely real minus the obvious changes. This is probably one of the more interesting stories that DC has made in a while. I don't think that anyone who has watched many of my videos would be surprised that I wasn't a fan of the Snyderverse, so the fact that I like the Reverse shouldn't be shocking. I think that the characters are more well done overall and have more depth, and this show only really stands to improve that, especially as we look forward to the Batman 2. The world overall is just more interesting, but that is something that Batman benefits from when he isn't in the world with other heroes. There are a few moments where I feel like flashbacks are drawn out a bit too much, but that is the worst thing I can say about it. I don't think that this show is perfect, but it is great in many of the more important ways. That aside, I still gave it a perfect score because it works in all of those critical ways. And most importantly, I found it entertaining. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I tend to have at least 2 videos out per week, real reviews like this or AI reviews depending on releases. Until next time.